Hello, everybody. And I'm glad to be back. My voice is a little hoarse right now, but I'm gonna get it together. Uh, how are y'all doing? I'm glad to be back again, and I thank y'all for listening in. And this is part two. Our parents, are we failing our children? And I know it seems like I'm coming hard down on the parents. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is trying to bring awareness. And if we can acknowledge our own behaviors and be aware and be mindful of what we do, we can change it, you know? Um, so I'm not being hard on parents. I love y'all. Trust me, I do. I love what I do. I just wish that somebody would have had this talk with me when I was younger and nobody never had the conversation talk. So on this show, I do want to talk about topics that people are afraid to talk about. Nobody wants to talk about it. It's like everything is hush hush and pushed under the rug. And those are the topics I want to bring out and bring alive on this show. Uh, and they're hard conversations. Some of them are hard, some of them are hurtful, but they're the truth. I want to bring honesty. Um, I'm not perfect. God knows I'm not. But I do my best to bring real talk, honesty talk, um, and have a real dialogue. And also, I want to bring, um, I want to be real with you. Everything is textbook and nothing is real. I want to talk about real issues and being genuine and real with you. And so that's why I wanted to do this, is to help somebody that needs that encouragement to say, well, maybe I do need to take another look at myself. It always starts with, let me look within myself to make sure I'm doing things right. I didn't know that coming up that I was supposed to do that. And so God said, my people perish for lack of knowledge. We don't have the knowledge. Nobody told us. So how can we have the knowledge? Our children don't come with instructions. I've always said that. They don't come with instructions. We do the best we can to raise them. And whether we get it right or we get it wrong, we have to be honest with that. I messed up. I failed on this. I didn't do a better job. I wanted to, but I didn't. Uh, I say that even about myself. So some situations I am going to bring myself in because I'm letting you know that I'm real and I'm genuine. And I fail at things. So I can't get on anybody else for failing. Uh, I'm saying, let's be honest. Let's have the conversation. Come and talk to me. Leave comments. Uh, I want to be able to people to come in and interact with me. Come up and talk. Share your stories. As long as we're keeping it positive, because I do want it to be a positive atmosphere for anybody to be able to reach out and say, uh, "I understand what I'm trying to say," and I've been in that situation or I've been in other situations. So if this message is not for you, then pass it on to somebody that it could help. You got friends, you got family. Share this on your live feed. Um, Somebody needs this message that you know needs it. Pass it on. Pass it on. That's what it's about. And like I said before, I did my dissertation on high school students. So you probably hear me talking about high school students a lot more than younger students, but this refers to them too. You can apply this to any age group because I want to talk about our children behavior, but also How does it grow into adulthood? And those behaviors of what we've learned at home uh, can trigger your child into what they're going to do later on in life when they are in adulthood. Are they getting in trouble and going to jail? Or are they going to college? Are they going to the Air Force? What is your child next move? Depends on you. Not all of it, because we can do the best we can to raise our children and they still make mistakes along the way. Uh, but is it out of our control or is it in our control? So that's the conversation I want to have. According to Davis, etc., they said Davis 2018. Parents influence their children behaviors, attitudes, and skills. Do we influence their behavior? Yes, we do, because a lot of times our children act just like we do when they're not around us. We can tell them all day long to do X, Y, Z, but they do what they see you do. They don't do what you tell them to do. They do what they mimic your behaviors. So if you're out drinking and drugging or whatever you're doing, and you allowing your children to see that, that's what they're gonna go and do too. Because you're showing them, and they follow parents' behavior. Research, like I said before in the first video, research have shown that most students who have early academic achievement will develop future achievement later in life. And that the majority of our children are influenced by parents' academic. So if you're going to college, 9 times out of 10, you're influencing your children to go to college. If you're in the military, you're probably influencing some of your children to join the military. All this is saying is that, and this is Davis 2018, Hill and Roberts 2019, which means that parents have a greater influence over their children's academic achievement. Do we have that influence? Yes, we do. When my daughter and son got out of school, the first thing I want to know is, are you sitting down doing your homework? Are we doing that with our children? Are we sitting down making sure that the homework get done? It's not the teacher responsibility to raise our children. It's our responsibility. And all I'm saying is that parents who have higher expectations maintain communication with their children. I'll repeat that again. Parents who have higher expectations maintain communication with their children. That's saying take time and get to know your child. You spend more time with them. You get more involved in activities with them, school activities, not necessarily school activities, activities outside of school. You get more involved. You support your children in developing good study habits, reading habits. We help our children to succeed. Like I said before, and I'll say it again, our children don't know where they can go. And I had to learn this. I didn't know it. If I wish I'd have known it when I was 18 and 19, because me and my son, I felt like we sort of grew up in the same, even though I was an adult and he was a child, I was young. So if you had your children when you were young, you probably in the same boat I'm in with my son. He was young, I was young, I didn't know any better. They said when you don't know better, you can't do better. But when you know better, you do better. And so when my daughter came along, I knew better. I knew things. I had grown. I had matured. I had uh, become more educated. I was going to school and working, but at the same time, I think that's where me and my son, he always tell me, well, I wanted to play football and I had to work, you know. Do I feel guilty about that? Yeah, I do. But at that time, I had a mortgage, I had light bill, water bill, clothes. I had to do what I had to do. So oftentimes our children can put us on that guilt trip, and then I have to accept it. So that's why I can't get on anybody. I'm just bringing awareness. I'm saying be mindful, uh, because when we know better, we do better. And a lot of times we don't know better. Nobody never told us. Like I said before, our children don't come with instructions, do X, Y, Z. Uh, this is what's going to get them to where they need to be. They don't come with instructions, neither do parents. I tell my daughter all the time, you can't pick and choose your parents. Um, we can't even pick and choose our relatives because some of them I wish we could. We could pick and choose and get rid of a couple of them over there and go grab somebody else family members and make them a part of our lives. But it don't work like that. We can't pick and choose who God put in our life. We can just pick and choose how we respond to their behaviors. We can pick and choose that. I ain't dealing with you. I'm not fooling with you. Um, so we can't pick and choose that. But let's get back to this. Parents who get involved with their children's education, their children's academic performance increase. Wow. Parents that get involved in their children's education, their children's academic performance increase. That's a plus. Please get involved. Go to the PTAs. Go meet your child's teachers. Know who's teaching your child. And when your child is having a struggle with assignments that they're not sure they know how to do, then reach out to that teacher and say, I don't know how to do this. If you don't know how to help your child through it, and that's okay, because sometimes your kids will bring stuff home and you have no clue what they're doing, especially when they get higher up in middle school and high school. Um, there's been times my daughter would bring stuff home and trigonometry and all that. And I'm like, girl, I don't know what this mess is. Uh-uh. So I had to seek tutoring for her. So that's what I'm saying. Be mindful, and things you don't know, I'm telling you things you can do now. So if you're not at that point and you get to that point, you will be aware. Well, Dr. RBH said, if my child is struggling, I need to seek help for my child. Yes, you do. Go to that child's teacher. What can I do to help my child improve their grades? Um, can you tutor them before school or after school? A lot of teachers tutor students as well that are struggling in school. So that's the number one contact. Can the teacher tutor the child before school or after school? Because a lot of times they're just off track a little bit and they're not grasping what the teacher is teaching. So teachers teaching that child uh, is a better way of that child learning a lot quicker than somebody else, because the teacher know what they expect for that child to do. When my daughter was struggling in school, that was my first defense, was going to the teacher. But one thing, that this was funny, so y'all may hear me tell some stories and they really be funny. She was in school and she told the teacher, my mother said we don't bring these home. And I did tell her that we don't bring these home in my house. And we're not going to have too many C's. We do A's and B's in this house. And I instilled that in her. So she knew she had to get good grades. And that's why I say it's up to the parents to tell our children what we expect of them. And we stick to it. And once it gets in their head, they will know. No, we don't do these. And I remember she said, I went to my teacher and I told her I can't bring these home. My mama don't have these in our house. And I look back, I can laugh about it, you know. But and the teacher told her, well, I'm giving you this D. Not that you earned the D, but I'm gonna give it to you. And I went to the school and I say, she told you exactly right. We don't bring these home in my house. Um, so do you want to tutor her in the morning or do you want to tutor her in the evenings? Because at the end of the day, she's got to learn what she's doing because she's going to college. You know, at that time, I didn't know with my son that you're supposed to tell your children what you want them to do. And so now I tell my daughter all the time, at that time, you going to college. Uh, it wasn't up for debate. This is what you're going to do. And you've got to have good grades in order to do this because I want you to be in position to have a good job, not in position to work a 9 to 5, and she still do, but she make good money. Be in position where you can make enough money to support yourself and your household, and have money for the things that you want out of life. And so we have to, college is not for everybody. Some kids want to go straight to the workforce. Some kids want to pick up a trade in technical school. Go pick that trade up. We got a college here that's geared towards people wanting to just go to the workforce, but you got to learn a trade. You want to do carpenter work, if you want to do plumbing, electrical, you got to learn what you're doing. You just can't go tampering with people's stuff. You don't know what you're doing. So there are other jobs. Everybody don't want to go to college. Some people want to go to trade school. Some people want to go to the military. But we got to find out what our children want to do because we definitely don't want them going to jail. So we need to be starting them young, trying to find out where their minds are at a young age and gear them towards the right way, so they can be successful adults because they're our next generation. And somebody has a doctor in the household, or somebody has the next lawyer, or the next judge, or the next DA, or the next police officer. I don't know what your children are going to become. They could become the next president. But if we don't tell them what they can become or ask them what they want to do and gear them towards that way of becoming something successful in life, then are we failing them because we are not telling them? Yeah, it's a way to look at it. Are we failing our children? Are we giving them everything we know to succeed in life? I mean, they're little now, but we have to mold their minds and get them off of video games all the time and get them back in the books. If the video game ain't educating you, why play it all day? What are you learning? That's my thing. What are you learning? Is it going to help you later on in life? So it starts with the parents. Everything that happens with our children, it starts with us. It starts at home. Most parents that do get involved more with their children, they have fewer behavior difficulties in school. And so that's where I'm also looking into behavior problems at school. Why is our children having behavior problem? Parents, what are we doing? Are we talking to our children? Are we seeing where they at mentally? Is what are their problems that lead to behavior problems? And that's something I'm gonna touch on too. What are some of the issues that lead our children the wrong way? And what can we do? And then I want to hear your input. I want to hear solutions. Uh, we got a whole lot of problems out here, but what is some solutions? Positive solutions to help our children do better. This is the next generation. And so, definitely, that's something that we as parents want to be mindful of. And I'm just bringing awareness, just bringing awareness, and saying, look at ourselves and look at our children and see what can we do different that we're not doing because we haven't paid attention, because we're working and we got to go to the grocery store and we got to go here and we got to go there and we got our plates so full nowadays, and our children are suffering. They're suffering, and it's not their fault that they're suffering. Sometimes it's the parents' fault. What are the parents doing? You are the greatest influence. Statistics says so that the teachers aren't the greatest influence. The neighbor ain't. You are. What are you doing with your child? Are you just having children and letting them run wild? You don't know what they're doing. You don't know where your child is. Uh, you have no clue if they up the street, down the street. Uh, what guidelines are you setting for your children? And that's important, you know. Uh, where, what behavior issues do you see that your child is developing that you need to turn it around? Because that means a lot. That's something that we as parents have to look into. And so I will probably talk a lot about students' behavior problems. I think that's what I may go into next, because our teachers can't teach if our children have behavior problems in school. What are we doing to control our children's behavior problems? That's something that we definitely need to look into. Are we talking to them? Because you are the greatest influence for your child. And so that's another topic I want to. And if y'all have any topics, throw me some topics. I would love to hear some more topics I can look into. But definitely behavior problems. What are your child doing in school when your back is turned? Are they showing out? Do they have behavior issues? What are you doing? Because most of the time, if they're showing out at home, they're showing out in school too. What are you doing to control those behavior problems? Do your child need help? Call the primary care physician. Don't ignore the problems. See what can be done. Do the best you can for your child. So when you say, when all else failed, I did the best I could do. Uh, because you're your child's greatest influence. You had them, you're raising them, they're in your care majority of the day. Who's influencing your child to do the right thing? Have positive role models around your children, uh, people that they look up to. That's a definitely plus. I guess we have not only have to check our surroundings, but maybe we need to check our children's surroundings so that they won't have behavior problems. What are they doing? Uh, the children that they play with, are they good kids? Are they parents on the same track that you're on with wanting the best for your child? Do they parents have high expectations and maintain communication with their children just like you? You know, that's something you have to be mindful of. Who is my children associating with? Do I approve of that behavior? Because that's the topic that we need to talk about. You got so many kids in school with behavior issue problems. Not all, but some. I'm not going to say your child got a behavior problem. Are they learning? That's a question you have to ask yourself. I'm just bringing awareness. That's all I'm doing. I just know that parents influence their children's behaviors. And so you have a way of turning that behavior around to make it positive if it's negative. And if it's positive, please keep encouraging them. Do you have high expectations of them? Because most of the time, our children know we have high expectations. They're not going to school to get in any trouble because they know I don't tolerate that behavior. Some things we just don't tolerate. And it starts when they're young into developing into high school. So it's like, how have you been raising your child if they have difficulties in school? And if they do, what are you doing about it? What are you doing to fix the problem or find out exactly what's going on with them? Are you having conversations with them to see where their mind is at? That's getting to know your child, and that's important. Please take time out to get to know your child because something could happen and you'll know if your child did it or not because you already know their character. You can't help them if you don't even know your child character. You can't let somebody accuse your child of something and you don't even know if your child telling the truth or not because you don't know your child. They could be telling you the truth and you're telling them, nah, you're lying or anything, and they could be falsely accused. That's because you never took the time to get to know your child. Know have that open communication with your child so they can be honest with you. Know when your child is being honest with you. And we still may not get it right because they don't come with instructions. But I do say take the time and get to know them. And it may come a time when that knowing your child may mean a world of difference later on in life because we don't know what life holds. But knowing our children means a lot. Get to know your child, know what they're capable of doing, know what they're not capable of doing, because you are their greatest defender. You are their lawyer. You take a big role in your children's life. And the reason I say that because my daughter was accused of something in school, and had I not known my daughter, she could have got something on her record that she didn't deserve. And it was proven that I was right. I know her. She didn't say XYZ. Now, if you said she said this, I'm going to say, yeah, she said that. And she came right in and said exactly what I said. And wasn't anything they could do, you know. So we have to be mindful, know our children. And I said, honey, we hit that right on the head. You ain't even know it. She was shaking like a little leaf. But you get to know me. And like I say, I'm just bringing awareness and be mindful. And then I want to get into some other topics. Y'all give me some topics. Leave your comments. Uh, hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel. I want to get to know you and know that I do care. And I want what's best for you and your family and your children. And if it's any way that I can give some guidance or give some how do I want to say that, advice, uh then I want to be available to help if your child is struggling, or if you need some advice to at least guide you in the right direction. I do want to bring awareness if it's something I know. So I've given y'all some pointers today. And I will say, are we failing our children? I think that's a question you have to look within yourself and ask yourself, are you failing your child? And what can you do better to help them succeed in life? Because they could be the next doctor, or lawyer, judge, or president. What are you doing to get them there? So I challenge everybody to look within self. It's just bringing self awareness. And I love y'all. And I'll see y'all at my next show. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of this beautiful evening. And I'll talk with you soon.